Good afternoon. My name is Lee Katan, and my associates and I at CyberShield 2024 will be discussing the case of the Security Exchange Commission versus SolarWinds, an ongoing case that comes as a result of a data breach against SolarWinds' Orion platform that occurred in 2020. Mayur and Anshul will be providing a technical description and the implications of the attack. My associates Leveth and Karen will provide a legal analysis, and Altaf will be providing a forecast and the results of the ongoing dispute. SolarWinds is a prominent company that provides network management and monitoring services to an IT suite. Their range of products covers monitoring and observation, performance and analytics, and general management. SolarWinds' Orion is a powerful tool that allows an IT suite to monitor the entire organization's IT setup, whether it's on a company server, cloud storage, or a mixed system. It's akin to having a control center with an eagle's eye view of the company's IT infrastructure in one place. Orion offers unified management, scalability, integration, and cross-stack integration.
Let's understand how did this attack happen. The attackers carried out the SolarWinds attack in 3 different phases. The first step was initial compromise. The attackers gained access to the SolarWinds Orion software pipeline and changed the source code of the Orion platform. As the next step, attackers deployed a backdoor called Sunspot. Attackers particularly injected malicious code inside the business layer DDL file. The second step was dormant malware activation. Upon the installation of the compromised binary as a software update on a customer's machine, the malicious code remained dormant for 15 days. After this period, it initiated reconnaissance and operational security checks. The objective was to identify any endpoint security agent or forensic tool that could detect the malware. If such a software was detected, the malware attempted to terminate or suspend itself. If not, it progressed to the next stage, communicating with the command and control servers to execute commands and disabling vulnerable endpoint security agents.
Now let's take a look at the third phase of this attack. Now Orion has the credentials for critical infrastructure components like Active Directory, firewalls, and infrastructure and network management software stored in its database. The attackers utilize this information to rapidly escalate their account privileges and potentially gain full control over the targeted network. They then establish persistence by adding a backdoor account and a trusted tenant under their control, allowing them to access the target network's applications, services, and data using the new trusted tenant accounts. Let's take a look at the implications of this attack on national security. Now, it was one of the most complex and widespread cyber espionage campaign that hackers have ever been caught in spying. It undermined the country's national security and it revealed the inadequate cyber defense of the US government. The attack compromised several government agencies in the US like the Department of Defense, Energy, Homeland Security, Justice, Labor, State, Treasury, as well as the National Institute of Health. It could mean revealing threat intelligence related operations, thereby leading to possible national security impacts. The attack exposed a new front in the security of software supply chains. Third-party software had been infected with a vulnerability that affected all the customers that the SolarWinds served. This kind of attack can not only be used to hack around various government systems and confidential information, but it can also be a gateway to obtaining data from the government. The government of the United States stated that the purpose of this attack was the collection of intelligence data. The same operation was offensively attributed to a source probably of Russian origin. With the spying tactic of the cyber attack, intelligence could be stolen straight away, exposing the government's secret security strategies, endangering the national security directly. Let's take a look of the impact on the insurance industry. The insurers were expected to spend around $90 million on incident response and forensic services for clients who were compromised by this attack. This figure includes costs associated with breach investigation, response, and potential legal and reputational damages. Now, in response to this attack, insurance carriers began to change their policies, often including exclusions related to SolarWinds Orion products and other similar software vulnerabilities. Now, some carriers have begun to release new endorsements, excluding national state attacks altogether, which is a shift from the traditional exclusion of war, but often included cyber terrorism. The cyber insurance industry saw premium increases in the triple digits across various industries as a result of the evolving threat landscape, which includes ransomware activities and supply chain attacks like this at SolarWinds. As a result of this attack, many insurers realized that they may need to adjust how supply chain risk is underwritten and work with the insureds to better understand their third and fourth party risks. So to summarize it all, the SolarWinds attack has had a profound impact on national security as well as the insurance industry.
The SolarWinds breach highlighted a broader issue affecting all companies using the ORAN platform. Despite various security and SIEM measures in place, none of the companies were able to detect the data extraction through ORAN. In the light of this incident, what proactive measures could have been taken to prevent such an attack? The first measure is understanding the supply chain threat landscape. SolarWinds customers could have conducted a comprehensive assessment of their supply chain, identifying all vendors and third parties. They could have categorized these vendors based on their data access and impact on the organization security. The second measure is implementing vendor risk management. A robust vendor risk management program could have helped SolarWinds customer identify vulnerabilities within the ORAN platform by evaluating the security posture of all third-party vendors. The third measure is ensuring security code signing and hardware-based protection. Utilizing the secure code signing, proactives would have ensured the integrity of software updates and patches. Additionally, implementing a hardware-based security measures could have protected against tampering and unauthorized access. The fourth one is enforcing the least privilege. Enforcing the principle of least privilege could have helped SolarWinds to protect their CI/CD pipelines by minimizing access rights to the minimum necessary for users and system based on their roles. And last one is zero trust. Adopting a zero trust security model where trust is never assumed and verification is required from everyone trying to access resources on the network. This could have limited the attackers' lateral movement that they perform in the third stage of attack.
Let's discuss why SEC filed a case against SolarWinds. Following the cyber attack, the SEC had filed civil charges against SolarWinds and its Chief Information Security Officer, CISO, Tim Brown, in October 2023, alleging that the company has misled investors about its cybersecurity postures and that Brown was aware of these cybersecurity risks and vulnerabilities but failed to resolve the issues. The cases brought against SolarWinds includes evidence of misrepresentation. SEC charged SolarWinds for misleading investors and the entire public by painting a perfect picture of their security postures, which SEC claimed does not replicate the exact structure of the SolarWinds security postures at the time. According to SEC, SolarWinds failed to consistently maintain a secure software development lifecycle for software it has developed and provided to thousands of customers. Secondly, SolarWinds has failed to enforce the use of strong passwords on all systems and failed to remedy access control problems that has persisted for years within the environment. All these and a lot of others led to investors being defrauded. Secondly, awareness of vulnerability. The SEC claimed that SolarWinds was fully aware of all the vulnerabilities that existed within their environment and did not implement proper security fixes. This was evident in the emails and messages that was exchanged between some of the senior staff of SolarWinds that were presented as an evidence to the court against SolarWinds. The third reason is impact of the Sunburst attack. The effect of the Sunburst attack on over 18,000 of the SolarWinds customers is another reason SEC filed a lawsuit against SolarWinds. The effect of this attack on different organizations was very massive and severe that warranted a lawsuit being filed against SolarWinds. Finally, the SEC complaint indicates that SolarWinds' public disclosures did not accurately reflect the company's cybersecurity practices and risk. For instance, despite internal controls and acknowledgements of significant cybersecurity issues, the company's SEC filings contain generic and hypothetical risk disclosures. The mismatch between the company's internal assessments and its public disclosures could be critical in the SEC's effort to demonstrate that SolarWinds misled investors and the public. The status of the legal case between SolarWinds and the Security Exchange Commission, SEC, is that SolarWinds has filed a motion to dismiss the SEC's case. SolarWinds has offered a detailed denial of the SEC's accusation, arguing that it made proper and accurate disclosures both before and after the cyber attack on its Orion platform. SolarWinds argues that SEC's complaint is biased and overreaches in interpreting internal accounting control provisions. SolarWinds also raised concerns about the deterring valuable security talent and questioned the SEC's resources to litigate every disclosure case. Some input from the stakeholders, including the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and Business Roundtable, has filed brief support for SolarWinds' notion to dismiss the case. Some stakeholders suggest that SEC's interpretation of the law goes beyond the original content of the Congress.
Let's now go over some of the CISO responsibilities and the repercussions of neglecting key responsibilities, as seen in SolarWinds' alleged actions under CISO Tim Brown. Risk assessment and management, identifying and mitigating cybersecurity risks. Security frameworks establishing practices aligned with organizational goals. Monitoring and reporting vigilantly, overseeing operations and promptly reporting incidents. Compliance, ensuring adherence to cybersecurity regulations such as HIPAA and GDPR. Training, educating personnel on evolving risks and best practices. Performance monitoring, continuously assessing security effectiveness. Operations oversight, ensuring smooth technical operations and resource allocation. Strategic alignment, aligning security with business objectives to enhance posture. Instant response, developing response protocols and recovering plans to cyber attacks. SolarWinds' negligence highlights the consequences of overlooking those responsibilities, which may end up leading to some catastrophic outcomes. I will be exploring now the pros and cons of public-private partnerships, or PPS, in cybersecurity, inspired by some lessons from the SolarWinds case. Some pros are access to expertise and innovation, leveraging private sector's technology and expertise for cutting-edge security solutions. Risk sharing, distributing risks between sectors, potentially leading to better risk management and cost savings. Efficiency and quality improvement. Private sector's competition can drive efficiency and higher quality services, enhancing threat detection and mitigation. Accelerated project completion. PPPs can expedite project completion, which is crucial for cybersecurity. On the other hand, some of the cons are complexity and management challenges. Negotiating and managing PPPs can be complex, requiring clear agreements and roles. Potential for reduced public accountability. Involvement of private companies may lead to transparency and accountability concerns. Financial risks for the public sector. PPP can expose the public sector to financial risks, impacting cost forecasts. Potential for service quality issues. Mismanagement of PPP may result in inadequate service and quality, affecting cybersecurity measures. Conflicts of interest and ethical concerns. Private profit motives may conflict with public service quality, compromising cybersecurity integrity. In essence, PPP hold promise for cybersecurity enhancement, but demand careful planning, transparency agreement, and effective management to ensure success.
So predicting the result of this case requires we analyzing both the consequences of victories of both SEC and SolarWinds, impacting the regulatory compliance and the corporate governance across the cybersecurity sector. So coming to the first scenario, if SEC are just victorious in this case, that it would force the companies to have a rigorous regulatory compliance and reporting of cybersecurity incidents. This may increase transparency, which is very good for investors and the customers and the broader public, and the operational cost will be very higher. And this can also encourage to have more proactive cybersecurity measures. What if SolarWinds are just victorious in this case? What could really happen? There could be a re-evaluation of existing cybersecurity incident disclosure requirements, potentially leading that to be more flexible. We could see more collaborative work between the regulators and the private sector. That would enhance the cybersecurity, and not leading them to punitive measures and focusing on partnership and information sharing between them. And there will be a lot impact on cybersecurity insurance market. There will be a lot increase in the premiums, and companies might adopt various approaches to cybersecurity incident disclosure, balancing the need of transparency and the risk of over disclosure.
The results of the case of the SEC versus SolarWinds will have far-reaching implications for the global security markets, and it's going to change what it means to be connected and secured. Thank you for your time and consideration.